let's talk a little bit about Stellarium. Now, Illuminati has created a version of Stellarium that enables us to show the user interface elements on our user interface, but not on the dome. In order to do this, we had to create a special version. If you do not have either your projection system or a second monitor connected to the computer and you launch Stellarium, it will break the connection for it to be displayed in your dome, at which point you'd have to reach out to support. We would have to uninstall Stellarium and reinstall Stellarium. So if you've done any editing to your quick keys or hotkeys, all of that information would be lost and unable to be recovered. So please make sure whenever you're running Stellarium, you are always making sure you have at least a second monitor or your projection system connected. That being said, let's talk about launching Stellarium. So we clicked Stellarium to launch and a little bit of navigation inside Stellarium. It's a large program, so it takes a moment for it to load. But as you can see, our user interface shows up on our UI, but not on the dome. So if I wanted to turn on constellation lines, labels, or pictures, I can do so using these buttons here, just like you would any other time you run Stellarium. You also have your date and time located over here. On the left-hand side, we have our configuration window. I have it programmed to not let you use your mouse for navigation. So if you want to be able to do that, you need to come into Tools and click Enable Mouse Navigation, which will allow you to then go do things like this, where you can change the horizon, move it around, zoom in, zoom out. But it means it gets very difficult to get back to the horizon being right at the bottom of your dome. So I do encourage you to use arrow keys for turning and not necessarily turn on mouse navigation. Of course, you have your sky and viewing options that are located here, so you can look at other surveys, markings, landscapes, things like that. You could close these menus using the X. If this user interface size is not large enough or is too large for you, come into World Composer under your Stellarium chapter, under the time script, which the exe is where we launch executables, and you can see that I have scaled the GUI to be 2 times. If I change it to be 1 time, then you'll see when I launch Stellarium, my user interface is going to be significantly smaller. See that? So if you need to edit the size of your user interface, you do that under File, Process Launch Options, and Command Line Arguments, changing the number for your GUI. I happen to think that 2.0 seems to be the best for me, so I am going to just go ahead and leave it as that. To exit Stellarium, we hit the submenu button, and it brings us back to our astrophysics applications.